Up next is Nate Swenson, and Nate is the principal of the middle school, and he's got some ideas he'd like to share with you.
You just used up some of my time. Good morning, everyone. My name is Nathan Swenson. I'm the principal at the middle school in Little Falls. And first of all, I just want to say how proud I am of my teachers. It is very inspiring as principal to watch your teachers present on the cool stuff that they're doing in their classroom. Much of what you have seen this morning is all about risk-taking, whether it be starting with our school board, taking a risk to do this, to the things that happen every single day in classes. So thank you to my teachers. You guys are awesome. What I want to talk to you about this morning is one of our Flyer 5, which is to increase engagement through communication. But in order for any of this to make sense, I need to tell you a little bit about the history of our school, so it'll make some sense to you. Last year, my teachers met in PLCs once a week from 7:30 to 8 o'clock, and we right away in the school year I discovered that just wasn't enough time for teachers to be meeting in PLCs because we were asking them to do a lot of stuff, and by the time they got going, they'd have to get to their classroom and be with students. And so early on, I decided that this year, teachers were going to meet for an hour in their PLCs once a week. And the way that we structured that, and for those of you that know about PLCs, you know that they should really be embedded into the teacher workday, which is a huge obstacle as a principal because that means that if it's within a teacher's workday, you have however many kids in your school to keep track of at some point while teachers are meeting in their teams. And so that was a little daunting to think about. I knew it was the right thing to do, and we kind of figured out how to do it along the way. So this year, teachers meet once a week in their PLCs from 7:30 to 8:30. Half of the teachers on Wednesday morning, and then their kids, 275 of our kids, are down in the commons, and we're responsible for doing activities with them. And then on Thursday, the other half of the teachers are in their PLCs while their kids are down in the commons. So 2 times a week, we have half of our student body in the commons. And again, a little overwhelming to think about what we're going to do because we wanted whatever we did to be very meaningful and to support what classroom teachers were doing to begin with. And so what we decide to do each week, we meet as a student assistance team in the office, and that's me, my social worker, my dean, and my counselor, and we plan out the activities that we do with kids each week for that 8 to 8:30 time period. And I have to tell you, as principal, it's been one of the most inspiring things that I've ever done, because what we have been able to do during that time, we would not have been able to do with students in their classes. Some of the things that we have been able to teach kids during that time, and I'll get to the Project Real piece in just a second, but we've done goal setting with the kids. We've talked about bus conduct. We've talked about cyberbullying. We've talked about access to the Skyward student portal. We've talked about homework strategies. We've talked about the summarizing strategy, the research-based strategies that our teachers are using and embedding in their classroom this year. And it's all stuff that we would not have been able to do had we not been doing PLCs and had we not had the technology that we have. So here's how it typically goes. In our SAT meetings each week, we'll say, all right, let's cover cyberbullying for the next couple weeks. Let's develop lessons. And so what we do is we develop lessons. We use some video clips that we show kids sometimes. We give them scenarios. And then at the end of our lesson, we will send out a Google form to all kids. Okay? And if you've never used Google Forms before, they're incredible. Basically, you can develop any type of assessment you want, send it out to your kids. They take the assessment. As soon as they submit it, it comes back into a spreadsheet in Google. You can disaggregate the data. You can see how your kids are doing. So for cyberbullying, what we did, I'll show you really quick. At the end of quarter 2, we did a summary with the kids, and this is what the form look like. And another thing that our district is implementing is PBIS, Positive Behavior Interventions and Supports. And our acronym is COOL. We respect our community, ourselves, others, and our learning. And so we were doing a little bit of a formative assessment here and asking kids to answer, you know, what does COOL stand for? Because every kid has to know what COOL stands for. So that was a part of our summary. And then also as a part of this, to introduce cyberbullying, we provided 2 different scenarios to kids. This one happened to be about Lindsay, and we just looked it up on the internet and revised it so it fit our school. And kids read the scenarios, had a conversation at their student PLC, which is part of their advisory at a table, and then they went through these different questions and submitted their responses. Okay, so we gave them a couple different scenarios. How can harassing classmates really understand? Anyways, you kind of get the idea. Huge topic in schools now that we're able to take head on because of technology. And then you'll notice we covered a couple other things. Big thing for us is summarizing in 10 words or less. Summarize why goal setting is important. That's another topic that we covered with students. Now, here's the cool part. Here's how it comes back to you. Okay, so I know that I'm not sure how well you can see this, but anyways, it comes back to you in a spreadsheet. So again, gets back to that formative assessment piece. We can quickly look at the responses of all of our students, or if we happen to have them submitting their responses by table, we can look at every single table and go, did we hit the mark? Are kids getting this? Is there a table that's not taking this seriously? And then we can go and address it from there. So, so that's how we're using it with students. The next thing that we're taking on as a school is we're going to start using Google Forms to do common assessments in class. Some of my teachers are doing common assessments right now, but they're pretty labor intensive. So you develop your common assessment and give it to kids. You have to correct the assignment or the assessment. You have to compile the data, you have to enter it into your grade book, you have to do all that. And then you go and you know, there's another teacher doing it and you compare the results to that. Well, with Google Forms, teachers can develop an assessment together. So let's say you have 2 7th grade math teachers together, they can develop a common assessment together in Google Forms, give that assessment to their students on the exact same day, okay? Kids take the assessment on the Google form, they submit it, it goes into the spreadsheet, and teachers and students can have immediate results on how their kids do, on how their kids did. So, for example, with this form I'll show you, you can go to show a summary of responses. So imagine this is a math assessment instead of our own assessment. Google will show you, this is not a really good example, I apologize. I should show one with a chart. Anyways, what will happen is when you pull up a summary of responses, it will show you how the kids responded on every single question. So you can get a pulse on your class. Go, man, did I miss the mark here? Or our kids knocked it out of the park on this concept in math. And it's immediate. There's no labor involved other than looking at the data. It's right there for you. And so that's a little bit about how we have used the iPads and Project Real and the other technology that we have and how we plan to use it in the future. Thank you very much.